Welcome to the Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina for Game 2 of the best-of-5 series between the Chicago Bulls and the Charlotte Hornets. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert, Matt Kukoč, and Ahmad Rashad, and we are set for the opening tip as the final piece of our NBC triple header. The officials, Ed T. Rush, Bob Delaney, Ron Gattison, Alonzo Mourning, and Will Perdue will go on the tip. In Game 1 here Friday night, the Bulls winning in overtime, propelled by another remarkable performance by Michael Jordan with 48 points in his 47 minutes of play. Jordan to the crossover. Here's Scottie Pippen, who was not able to get into it the other night because of early foul trouble.
Well, from talking to everybody, including Michael Jordan, he's saying that don't look for another 48-point performance from him. He's going to try to get more people involved. He knows that's how the Chicago Bulls can be an effective team.
They go to the double on Mourning. David Wingate was challenged to take that shot, and it's rebounded by Mourning. The whistle away from the ball, the call made by Ed T. Rush, and it's on Will Perdue as we take a look at the starting lineups for the Bulls. Pippen, Kukoč, Perdue up front, Armstrong and Jordan at the guards, Johnson, Wingate, Mourning, Bogues, and Hawkins. And Wingate with it, being watched by Pippen. Here's Hersey. Hawkins is bothered by a sore knee, but said he's all right. Here's Bogues also trying to come back from an injury hit last couple of weeks. Muggsy Bogues bothered by a deep bone bruise in his left leg.
An aggressive move there by Muggsy, who was left open time and time again coming down the stretch of the fourth quarter and just couldn't deliver, in particular that runner where he had the game on the line.
Muggsy had 4 of the Hornets' last 8 shots and missed all 4. Hawkins for 3. Mourning on the boards. He lost the grip. The save by Perdue, but kept alive by Wingate.
Time of possession at this end of the floor is unbelievable.
Hawkins, Johnson, handling it for the first time. Coming off a 6 for 18 in game number 1. Forced the shot.
And this is the player on the Hornets the Bulls are most concerned about. They want to keep him from getting off.
Now the Bulls regrouping.
Yes.
So the Bulls off to a 4-0 start.
Very quick lightning type move by Michael Jordan before any kind of double team could come. So he's still going to look to assert himself offensively.
And we'll see how Alan Briscoe plays it. He went with the big lineup, which gave the Bulls all kinds of trouble in game 1. Johnson over to handle the boards. And the layup game call against Charlotte.
And keep in mind, the Charlotte Hornets are the worst offensive rebounding team in the league over the regular season, already with 3 offensive rebounds here this evening. Make that 5 offensive rebounds. They had 18 in game 1.
Kukoč leading Pippen. Mourning with the rebound. Wingate running the floor. Wingate trying to go all the way.
Well, Michael Jordan in the triangle offense in the post, very effective. They started that in that Cleveland game a few weeks ago, where that will create opportunities for other people and keep Michael from shooting early perimeter jump shots. That time he just made the quick drop step turn on Hersey Hawkins. At the other end, Hersey Hawkins is going to look to assert himself more offensively to keep Michael Jordan busy.
Larry Johnson called for an offensive foul to give the ball back to Chicago. Pippen through the foul, yes, and it counts. Beautiful ball fake by Pippen. He had Mourning in the air, and now Pippen will go to the line.
Well, I say they want to go at Larry Johnson at both ends of the floor. They won't mind this, though, getting this fella in foul trouble. Alonzo Mourning, who had an outstanding game in game 1 with 7 blocked shots and very active around the basket and very effective inside. The problem, however, was Alonzo started to drift and got a little happy with the 3-point shot.
Yes, that's the downside. He actually apologized for it after the game. Hawkins off the good setup from Bogues. Shot selection is the question with the Charlotte Hornets big men. Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson. Michael Jordan not able to hit, but Tony Kukoč keeping it alive. Michael Jordan returning to his roots here today. He's just 130 miles from the campus at Chapel Hill. Kukoč splitting through, and he drew the foul.
Well, Phil Jackson not going to be happy with, after a free throw situation, Muggsy Bogues going coast to coast, as B.J. Armstrong couldn't keep him in front of him. And once Muggsy gets into the lane, it's too hard to find. Even though he's going to be in the tall trees there, he's so low to the ground, he can find the openings, and he made a nice feed to Hersey Hawkins.
Foul on Wingate, putting Kukoč at the line. Tony Kukoč, a native of Croatia, seems to have settled down. Wasn't playing his usual game when Michael Jordan first made his return, but they have blended in recent games. 3 minutes have gone by. In this first quarter, the Bulls with a 9-4 lead. Johnson posting up. Here's Larry Johnson swinging in.
Well, Scottie Pippen knew Kukoč was in trouble. He started coming, but once Larry was in that twirling type of situation, nobody could catch up with him, just overpowering Kukoč, Pippen, and Perdue inside.
Jordan drawing the double team. Perdue with the recovery. Johnson on the steal. Johnson for Bogues. Hawkins for three. Yes.
That's what I mean about Muggsy Bogues being so low to the ground, you don't know if there. Will Perdue made the mistake of starting to put the ball down, and Muggsy picked him clean.
The game tied at 9. 7 offensive rebounds by the Hornets. Here is Armstrong, and the Bulls lead 11-9. This a Charlotte team that went 50-32 during the regular season. Their first ever 50 victory campaign. They finished behind Indiana in the Central Division. Bulls tied the game at 11. And here at home, Charlotte with the 7th best record of the NBA at 29-12. Nice pass from Jordan. Broken up by Wingate. Took it out of the hands of Kukoč. Hawkins had it batted away by Jordan.
This is the way Muggsy Bogues wants to play. He wants his team to get out and run at every opportunity. The other night in the fourth quarter, Muggsy was left with these kind of shots time and time again. Couldn't knock him down when it would have meant a victory in game one. This had made him feel very good.
Timeout called with 5 minutes gone by in the first quarter.
Well, guards are aware of Muggsy Bogues being around because he's so dangerous, but big people don't see him, don't feel him, and that's when he can pick you clean and get into the teeth of the defense and then kick out for open shots like that.
Fast start here in the early going with 5 minutes gone by of the Hornets, and the Bulls tied at 11. Charlotte doing it off the offensive board. 7 offensive rebounds the first 5 minutes. David Wingate going too strong and rebounded by Will Perdue. Scottie Pippen being played by David Wingate. Tony Kukoč posting Larry Johnson. And here's B.J. Armstrong trying the 3. Kukoč with the rebound. Michael Jordan for 3. Pippen with the save, and he called for time. Scottie Pippen successfully taking the 22nd timeout.
Well, after a second chance opportunity by the Bulls, Michael Jordan with a quick shot with 20 seconds on the shot clock, but Scottie Pippen chasing down that loose offensive rebound to hang in the air just long enough to let the referee know he wanted to stop it.
Let's check in with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, Marv, as you mentioned earlier, Muggsy Bogues had injured his left knee as a bone bruise in the back of his left knee about 3 weeks ago. He told me that the first time he ran was last Thursday, and from game one, that it really affected his rhythm. He couldn't get his legs up under his shot, and it really got worse as the game wore on. The knee got progressively worse, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as the game goes. Marv?
All right, Ahmad. And Muggsy Bogues matched up defensively against B.J. Armstrong. Hand-checking foul. on Hersey Hawkins. Several of the Charlotte Hornets complaining after game one that Michael was getting the calls the other night.
And this is one of the minor adjustments that the Charlotte Hornets want to make. They want to get up into Michael and get closer to him, force him to the baseline, which is unusual. Most teams want to make him go to the middle where they get help, and Hersey Hawkins with the touch foul.
Here's Pippen. Rebound Jordan. Bulls 13, Hornets 11.
It's been an offensive rebounding frenzy for both teams. Charlotte already with 7 of them now. Chicago with 4.
Michael 2 of 4. He has 4 points. Just under 6 minutes left in this first quarter. Larry Johnson going down low effectively.
Well, good spacing by the Hornets, and Pippen just a little bit tentative there, not coming quick enough to help Tony Kukoč. Tony can't handle Larry inside.
Oh, Will Perdue flying for the stuff.
Good cut by Will Perdue off the ball as Alonzo Mourning was sensing that Michael was going to get into something, came over to double team, and nobody plugged the lane from behind.
First field goal for Perdue, who played only 16 minutes the other night, 0 for 4. Get the idea Michael Jordan is more comfortable with Perdue than Wingate. And the game is tied at 15, although Phil Jackson went for a good portion of the game on Friday with Luke Longley.
Well, Michael Jordan not able to get too much going on the perimeter, starts wandering around the basket. Hersey Hawkins doesn't get a body on him and gets up for the offensive rebound, and then a perfect feed to Will Perdue, slicing in from the weak side. Nobody helping around the basket area for Charlotte.
Foul called on David Wingate, and now here's Kenny Gattison, who was effective in game one, checking in for the first time, replacing David Wingate.
Well, Mark, Michael is used to Will Perdue because Will knows where to go in the triangle offense. Luke Longley is still learning it, still not comfortable with it.
Kukoč from Jordan. And the beautiful spin by Jordan out of the double team set that up.
And the defense all focusing on Michael, and that's when he can get his teammates involved if they'll cut, if they'll move, if they'll find the open areas.
B.J. Armstrong did not like that call for the hand check.
All the defense focusing on Michael Jordan. He spins out of trouble, leaves his feet, but he's capable of doing it. And with the good vision, and Tony Kukoč, who has really improved in this area as the regular season was winding down, finding those openings and receiving from Michael Jordan.
Pippen stepping out for the steal. Pippen trying to dump it off. Bogues with the intercept. Marchie running the floor. Sets it up for Hawkins for 3. And back come the Bulls. Here's Jordan. Here's Kukoč. Took it all the way. Michael Jordan soaring for the stuff. And the Bulls lead 19-15. Jordan looking for the steal. Hawkins for 3. Open shots for Hersey Hawkins. 4 minutes to go in this first quarter. Kukoč rejected by Hawkins. Whoa! Here's Bogues on a 3-on-2. Johnson and Hawkins. Exciting end-to-end basketball. The Bulls with a 19-17 lead, and Phil Jackson calling for time.
Well, this is the way that both of these teams' players want to play basketball. After turnovers, after rebounds, get out and run. Here they throw ahead to Michael Jordan. Everybody out of the way as Michael goes up and throws it down, and then Kukoč sent in for a fast break, and Hersey Hawkins coming out of nowhere. I don't think Tony Kukoč saw him coming. And then Muggsy Bogues, what a frightening feeling that is when that little butterfly running at you as they execute the fast break beautifully.
Back at Charlotte, 3:44 left first quarter. Here's Ahmad.
All right, Marv, in that last timeout, the Chicago Bulls were very upset with Charlotte getting too many offensive rebounds. They want to try to limit the Hornets to one shot. And on the other end of the court, they figured that they haven't got into their offense yet, but they're doing okay because they're splitting the double teams. They say Charlotte is gambling with the double teams, but Chicago is splitting them and making baskets, and they haven't even got to their offense yet, so they feel fine about that. Marv?
Bulls have a 2-point lead, 19-17. Del Curry is on the floor for the first time for Charlotte. Here is Jordan. And a loose ball foul is called. It's against the Hornets. It's on Curry. Luke Longley replacing Will Perdue. The foul on Curry, putting the Hornets over the limit. There is Luke. Scotty Pippen played a career-high 37 minutes. Game 1 on Friday. 6 of 12 from the field, 14 points. How about the Boston Celtics over the Orlando Magic to tie that series at 1? And in the game that preceded us, Phoenix defeated Portland 103-94. Charles Barkley with 25 points, and we will hear from him at halftime. The Prudential halftime report. AC Green, 20 points, 15 rebounds. Boston Celtics following up on that Cleveland Cavalier surprise victory over the New York Knicks yesterday at Madison Square Garden. Alonzo Mourning very quiet in his first one. His first field goal. The Bulls lead 21-19.
The initial part of that play, they ran Del Curry off 3 screens. They want to make Michael Jordan work at the defensive end as much as possible.
Jordan guarded by Curry. Shot clock at 6. And a hand check call. And again, the crowd reacts.
Well, this is one of the problems you have when you tell guys like Hersey Hawkins and Del Curry, we want you to get up on Michael. Be tougher with him. Get up in his chest. Make him be a driver. Well, he will be a driver. He can take it by you very quickly. And Alan Bristow thought it was a little bit soft on the hand check by Del Curry, but that's what the officials have been calling early in all of these first-round games.
Well, Michael Jordan, game number 1, went 11 of 11 from the line. Here's Tony Kukoč sitting down, replaced by Corey Blunt, the second-year man out of Cincinnati. Michael Jordan has always been at his best in the playoffs, averaging 35 points for his career in playoff competition and shooting better than 50%. He has 7 points, 3 assists here in the first quarter. The Bulls lead by 3. Curry eluding Jordan. And apparently that went over the glass, so the ball awarded to the Bulls.
Once again, 3 baseline screens for Del Curry, making Michael bump into them all the way, hoping they will tire him out. And once Del Curry catches it, he has the quickest release of any player in the NBA.
Chicago Bulls went 47-35 in the regular season, then came on strong following the return of Jordan. They were 26-29 at one point and fading. Block set up by Jordan, but he's fed for a travel. The Bulls finished the season in grand style, winning 12 of their last 14, and they went 13-4 once Michael Jordan returned.
Noticing Michael looking a little bit tired every time he bends over and grabs the short, and we saw that the other night. Really, in the third quarter, I thought he was out of gas at that point. Obviously, he got his second win later in the ballgame and really turned it on in overtime. But Michael looks a little bit tired right now, and I think the effectiveness of Del working him is taking a little bit of a toll right now.
That last foul called on Pippen, reaching in. Gattison, guarded by Pippen. Curry looking for the shot. Mourning had a look at a three-pointer, but passed on it. Here's Bogues. And the rebound is swept out of bounds. The last touch by the Bulls. So Bogues now 1 of 4 from the field. Over the last 16 games entering the playoffs, Chicago, along with San Antonio, the 2 hottest teams in the league. You see Charlotte dropped off, record of 9-7. They had some injuries the last couple of weeks. Curry, rebound, Gattison, rejected and fouled.
One of the reasons why the Bulls gave up so many offensive rebounds in the first game is because Scottie Pippen's minutes were limited to just 27 with all the foul problems. He is the best rebounder on the Chicago Bulls. He's in there right now, but Kenny Gattison and Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning really working hard inside. And this is what the problem I think the Bulls are going to have throughout this series, and if they move on to the next series, not being able to control the defensive board. They just do not have the bug. The people that they used to have before, Horace Grant, Scott Williams, Bill Cartwright, they miss those players sorely.
Now Bill Wennington replacing Corey Blunt. A cameo for Corey Blunt. Kenny Gattison, who was at the free throw line, played an important role the other night. 9.7 rebounds. He was the guy who was made a miraculous and speedy recovery from neck surgery. It was thought that his career was over.
Amazing comeback. He worked very, very hard. Never really gave up, but I think he amazed everybody in basketball with the quick recovery that he has made. Interesting lineup for the Charlotte Hornets right now with Muggsy Bogues getting a rest. In effect, Larry Johnson will handle the ball almost as a point forward with Del Curry and Darren Hancock on the wings.
Darren Hancock checking in a moment ago. That foul was called on Gattison. And with the Hornets over the limit, Pippen to the line. Darren Hancock, a rookie from Kansas who ended up as a starter the last week and a half. That because of the injury suffered by Scott Burrell, which is a major loss for Alan Bristow and the Hornets out for the season with a partially torn Achilles tendon. Burrell had been playing extremely well, a candidate for most improved player. And Burrell went down, and Bristow did some experimenting. Now he's been going to David Wingate as a starter. Johnson could not find anyone, and rather than take a gamble on the inbounds, he took the timeout. It's a 20-second timeout.
Well, the Bulls and Phil Jackson taking advantage right away with Muggsy Bogues out, knowing that no true ball handler out on the floor for for Charlotte. The Bulls go into their full court press to see how they'll handle it. Wise move, and you saw right away how disorganized Charlotte used to playing this way. They tried it a little bit in practice. Allen is gambling a bit, going with a big front line against the quicker Chicago Bulls, but this is something that he has to do right now. And so far, he's been successful as far as the rebounding is concerned.
And he's staying with Johnson as the ball handler because he does not have the confidence that Michael Adams, who has had an injury-hit year and is still having difficulties. He had a calf injury, so he's not going with Adams, and is not going with the other guard, Rick Sutton, who's bothered by a stiff neck, but is dressed and is available. Instead, Larry Johnson at 6'7", 250 pounds, handling the ball against Scottie Pippen, who's not the man you want to handle the ball against. Pippen nearly stole it. Johnson threw it away. Jordan goes down, 1-2, and a foul on Gattison. It was called for a trip.
Well, a minor adventure for Larry Johnson in just getting the ball over midcourt and then the sigh of relief, and then he relaxed a little bit, and that's when a clever veteran like Scottie Pippen will still come after you, knocks the ball loose, and right away the Charlotte Hornets are out of sync, and Muggsy Bogues will get ready to check back in as Michael Jordan was tripped from behind by Kenny Gattison.
Michael Jordan now 2 of 3 from the line. And here comes Muggsy. It's a very difficult situation for the Hornets because Muggsy is still hurting. And Alan Bristow is forced to play him the additional minutes unless he takes a shot with Michael Adams.
Well, he took the shot with Larry Johnson handling the ball. Didn't like what he saw on 2 occasions. He gets Muggsy back in there. And Muggsy kind of wore down in that third quarter. See if he on the bench in game 1. Very sore with that bone bruise in the back of his knee.
Jordan now 3 of 7. Bogues for Hancock. The Bulls by 1 with 1 minute left in this first quarter. Muggsy Bogues with 5 assists. The steal by Hancock. 2-on-1. Bogues for Hancock. Rebounded by Jordan. And here comes Armstrong. Curry with a reach-in foul. So Del Curry, or is it Muggsy Bogues? Apparently Bogues is hit with the call. That's his first.
Well, Muggsy has been sharp in fast break opportunities in the first game and a quarter as he finds Darren Hancock flying in on the right wing, and that's what he does best. Run the floor and finish there. Muggsy trying to reach in, prevent the play made by B.J. Armstrong. Muggsy not happy with it. Thought he got all ball. And of course, this crowd of over 23,000 agrees with Muggsy Bogues.
Armstrong, an 88% free throw shooter. One of the better foul shooters in the league. Chicago on 9 of 12 at the line. Charlotte has gone to the line only twice. Michael sitting down, 8 points, 3 of 7 from the field. Only 2 of 4 at the line. 3 assists for Jordan. But Pete Myers has come on for Michael Jordan. Bulls 26 and the Hornets 23. seconds to go in this opening quarter. And the foul called on the ball. It is on Longley.
Well, before Michael retired a year ago, you would never see in the body of a game either Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen both out of the floor at the same time. This is unusual right now. Michael, Scottie, and Tony Kukoč all sitting on the Chicago bench right now. You got to wonder where they're going to get their ball handling and where they're going to get their offense. Kukoč ready to check back in.
2-point Chicago lead. And Kukoč replaces Longley, so it is Kukoč, Bushler, and Wennington up front with Myers and Armstrong at the guard. 32 seconds remaining in this first quarter. As the 5th seed, the Chicago Bulls won't have the home court advantage in any series of the playoffs. So they have to be an exceptional road team to overcome the home court disadvantage in 4 straight playoff series. A difficult task. They certainly began on the right note with the overtime win here on Friday.
Well, you'll remember the Chicago Bulls did that 2 years ago. They did not have the home court advantage against New York or against Phoenix.
A little pressure on the ball. 1-point lead for Chicago. Shot clock at 7. Wennington. Bill Wennington with his first field goal. And Chicago leads 28-25. Final seconds of the quarter. After 1 at the high. The Bulls lead by 3. Scottie Pippen with 8 points, equaling the foul-plagued performance in Game 1 on Friday night. Pippen 2 of 4 from the field, 4 of 5 from the line. Good shooting first quarter by the Bulls, hitting 9 of 17. We'll be back right after these words. Well, following Game 1, several Hornet players expressed their displeasure about all the calls they felt going the way of number 45, Michael Jordan. We heard the crowd reaction here in the first quarter, and yesterday we talked about that with Alonzo Mourning of the Hornets.
It was obvious, I mean, even to people that didn't even understand basketball, that a lot of the favoritism was shown to Michael in that game, you know, and I mean, hey, I mean, he's the marquee player. People wanted to see him, you know, but I really feel that, you know, when you have, you know, the referees calling a lot of calls that are pretty much in his favor, you're automatically at a disadvantage, you know, to a certain extent. You know, I'm not pointing a finger at all, you know, because we still had, regardless of what the officials were calling, we still had plenty of opportunities to win that ball game.
Plenty good offensive players should take advantage of the way the games are being officiated this year, especially early in the playoffs. They're going to call hand checking, and Michael just happens to be maybe the best offensive player. So you got to understand what's going on out there. Granted, some of these have been touch fouls, but that's the way the game is going to be called, at least in the early going.
It's also a common complaint after a club loses. Don't you feel, Matt? That's usually the case. Hancock soaring to put it home. The Bulls 28 and the Hornets 27 as we start the second quarter. Darren Hancock, the rookie from Kansas, getting the crowd going. And for Charlotte, it's Knight, offensive rebound. Bushler, nice pass, Wennington. Offensive foul as Wennington try to make the move on Gattison.
Well, Darren Hancock has the live body and the fresh legs. Timed that beautifully, and you may wonder why that was not a technical foul for hanging on the rim. The officials ruled that he was in a little bit of danger there with some bodies under him, but perfect timing by Darren Hancock to finish off that play.
Matt, we were speculating that Alan Bristow would go to Michael Adams, and he has here at the start of the second quarter, though Adams physically is still not right. He's been hurt good portion of the year. That will count and the foul. Del Curry getting the roll, and he'll go to the line.
Now, Del Curry, known for his perimeter shooting and the quick release. You don't expect him to put the ball on the floor and drive. That's why you want to get up in his chest and force him to do that. That's exactly what B.J. Armstrong did. He just did not get the help from his teammates, as Alan Bristow is looking for field goals anywhere he can get them. Ahmad Rashad was telling us before the game, he talked with Michael Adams, and Michael said, only in an emergency situation will I go out there, and I can think Alan feels that right now. He's got to get a breather for Muggsy Bogues, but I don't expect Adams to play that long.
Wennington on the foul, leading to the three-point play by Curry. Adams still recovering from a calf injury. Played only 29 games during the regular season. Did not play at all in game one. He is matched with Steve Kerr just came on. Curry tried to steal, but stepped out of bounds. All right, let's check in with Ahmad.
All right, Marv, during that the quarter break, I talked to Coach Johnny Bach. He said what they wanted to do in the first quarter was they tried to rest LJ and Muggsy Bogues, but they had trouble getting the ball up the court, so they had to bring Muggsy back in. He said they're satisfied where they are right now. They didn't want Chicago to have a high-scoring first quarter. They wanted to keep them around 25 points, and that's where they had them. He said the strategy going into the second quarter was they wanted to work the ball in inside. Marv?
All right, about Johnny Bach, of course, longtime assistant for the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan with a whip pass that was deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Charlotte. Johnny Bach ran into Michael Jordan the other day, and Michael said, "Nice to see you." Johnny said, "Not so nice to see you."
he knows the damage that Michael can do here.
Johnny Bach so instrumental in the defensive success over the years on the part of the Chicago Bulls. Kerr coming up short. Curry pumps it down to Adams. Oh, he just did beat Scottie Pippen.
Well, that's how Adams can help the Hornets right now. He just released on that Kerr jump shot, and Scottie Pippen made a tough effort, but just couldn't get there.
7-0 run by Charlotte here in the second quarter. Kukoč. And a loose ball foul called on Pippen. That's his second foul.
Well, Steve Kerr taking that jump shot, his responsibility is not to worry about the man releasing. It's got to be somebody else. In this case, it was Pippen, and the pass was just too good on line. Scottie gave the effort to get up in the air, but Adams enough in those legs to get down there.
Charlotte with a 4-point lead. Curry looking for the shot. Johnson spinning his way. Johnson with a spectacular move. Larry Johnson, who at times will go into the jump shooting mood, is trying to do it from down low, and he's been successful here in the first half.
He's been staying tight to the lane and initiating the contact. That makes him tough to deal with inside.
34-30. Charlotte by 4. Hornets with Adams and Curry on the backcourt. Up front they have Johnson with Hancock and Robert Parish, who is spelling Alonzo Mourning. Here is Johnson. Rebounded by Longley.
Once again, Larry initiated the contact, but just flipped that ball up there. He has still lost some of that explosiveness in his legs, but he's using his big body very well.
Well, the Bulls have the hot touch in the first quarter. Not so here in the second. Murray with the stroke. Charlotte has opened up a 7-point lead.
And Michael Adams has paid dividends. Already gave him a field goal, and then a perfect pass in the fast break situation to Del Curry.
Jordan. Yes. Nice move off the fake by Michael Jordan, being played by the 6'7" Darren Hancock. Jordan has 10 points.
And those are the kinds of field goals that Michael was hitting in game one. That's that quick dribble up in the air before the defender can do anything at all about challenging it.
3-second violation.
Well, Larry Johnson has been working inside. The Bulls know that Tony Kukoč can handle him inside, so they will come and double team every time. But they're coming too slow, and Larry Johnson's been able to split. And there, the pass by Michael Adams as Curry stays wide. They can't get to him in time.
Back at the Coliseum in Charlotte, Marv Albert with Matt Kukoč and Ahmad Rashad. Better than 23,000 on hand. The 278th consecutive sellout here in Charlotte. And a foul is called. It's on Hancock. He has the assignment on Michael Jordan. Has several inches on Jordan. So Alan Bristow giving it a shot with Hancock, who played only 1 minute in Game 1 on Friday.
He looks sharp. He looks confident out there, and a tough task, of course, guarding Michael Jordan. I'm sure Johnny Bach warned his team that coming out of that timeout, something for Michael.
Jordan thought he saw Kukoč cutting, and it will be Charlotte taking over.
And Michael just with a couple of calm words for Tony there, I think instructing him to keep coming, kind of stopped and fooled Michael by doing that.
The Hornets with a 37-32 lead. Larry Johnson has not been looking for the outside shot, and he drew the foul. Foul on Jordan. That's his first.
The crowd feels that Michael has been getting the benefit of a lot of little touch fouls, and now happy to see one called on him. You really have to like the aggressiveness of Larry Johnson when he is getting the ball deep in the post, and he is staying in there. I think it's something that the Charlotte coaching staff talked to both Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson about. You know, there are going to be times when you have to drift out there when the double teams are effective, but in the body of the game and when we have mismatches, stay in there and power to the basket.
Larry Johnson making it back from a very difficult injury mid-season. Last year missed 31 games due to a herniated disc in his lower back, and last season was reduced to taking those long jump shots. 38-32, the Hornets with the lead. Jordan finding Kukoč. So Michael with assist number 5, and it's a full-point Hornet lead.
And that's on Kukoč, who showed up just in time as Mike was hanging in the air.
Hancock kept alive by Parish. Adams for 3, and rebounded by Longley. Here comes Kukoč, 3-on-2. Kerr with the pull-up. Steve Kerr with his first field goal. The Hornets 38, the Bulls 36.
It's amazing. Tony Kukoč at 6'11", excellent ball handler in the middle of the floor. Most of the time makes good decisions on those fast breaks.
Larry Johnson drawing a crowd and the foul.
Well, Michael Jordan sent baseline, which is very dangerous. He gets into his spin mode, gets into the air, everybody coming to help out, and they find Kukoč.
And it was Kukoč called for that foul against Johnson. One difference that we've noticed in the second go-round of Michael Jordan in his return, Michael has been seen in more of an instructional role, a coach on the floor. We talked about that with him prior to today's game.
I understand what Phil is trying to implement in terms of the system in the triangle and the understanding of that, especially in the playoffs. I'm trying to relate that to on the basketball court with Luke and with the guys I haven't played with. Tony being the most, because he has so much talent and he's such an integral part to our success that if he can understand it and be such a threat offensively, it takes the pressure off of Scotty and myself tremendously.
Reading between the lines, Michael is saying, yes, we're running the triangle offense, but there's going to be times I'm going to break it off and play basketball. Be ready to react to me.
Parish was hoping to save it, but could not, and stepped out of bounds.
To follow up on that, when you have creative players like Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Tony Kukoč, you want to take advantage of that creativity and just don't get locked into a structured offense, because the defense will make you do some other things, react to it, and play basketball.
6:20 left in the first half. The Bulls with the ball. They're trailing Charlotte by 2. Longley for Kerr. Jordan posting up now against Hawkins. Hawkins playing him well. Jordan to the fadeaway. Michael Jordan, 5 of 9, 12 points, and he's tied the game at 38.
Michael almost looked shocked that no double team came. He couldn't have said, the heck with it, I'm going to turn and shoot.
So Hersey Hawkins is back defending Jordan. They double up on Mourning. Bogues with the shot. And Jordan able to get to it. 4-on-3 developing. Jordan with no one on him.
Yes. Once again, Michael keeps looking around. However, the ball is moving quickly. That time, Steve Kerr caught it right back inside to Michael, and the Charlotte Hornets defense very slow to react.
8-0 run by the Bulls. They have recaptured the lead. They're up by 2. Here's Hawkins for 3. Yes. Hawkins with 10, and the Hornets 41, the Bulls 40.
Well, Hersey was pretty much begging for the basketball after game one, saying, hey, if I have to guard this guy, and he's going to go wild on me offensively, get me some shots where I can make him work. The Hornets have done that here in the first half.
Here's Scottie Pippen. A 3 for Pippen. Open shot for Pippen off the pick. He has 11. It's the Bulls 43 and the Hornets 41. Bogues, a wild shot. So Muggsy able to hit with the runner. And it's tied at 43. Traveling violation. He was uncertain. He saw Kukoč. He was about to take the shot and then had changed his mind.
Well, the quick feed, and Michael looking around for some kind of double team coming. Nobody in any kind of position to come, so he just waited and waited till he got Hersey Hawkins a little bit off balance. And here, hanging in the air, back out to Steve Kerr, right back into Michael, and nobody covering here as Michael turns and gets a good look at the basket. Michael very upset with Longley on that last play for just not catching and taking it strong to the hoop.
Good help from Wennington after Mourning beat Longley off the dribble. And the Bulls are going with a combination of Longley and Wennington, along with Pippen up front. And now Myers in the backcourt, a rest for Jordan. Pippen for 3 again. Scottie Pippen with consecutive shots from downtown. He has 14 points. The Bulls by 3, and it's been a hot shooting first half for Chicago. They're just under 59% from the field. Well, Charlotte at 41. More shot opportunities, though, for the Hornets. Mourning! And he drew the foul.
Well, Scottie Pippen being covered right now by Larry Johnson, and that's a tough cover for Larry out on the floor. Scottie has hit a couple of long jumpers in a row, including this one, setting up, I'm sure, some drives to the basket as Michael Jordan. Very happy to see Michael starting to get the feel.
And the Bulls have hit 7 of the last 8 shots. Alonzo Mourning has had a very quiet first half. On the line by virtue of that foul by Wennington. For Wennington, his 3rd. 5 points for Mourning, only 1 of 5 from the field. Timeout is taken by Phil Jackson with 3:34 remaining in the first half. Game 2 of this best of 5 between the Bulls and the Hornets. Bulls by 2. We'll be right back.
In this first half, Charlotte has been featuring Larry Johnson inside, thus Alonzo Mourning not getting involved. Here he gets the kick-out pass, however, and Luke Longley commits the crime here of letting Alonzo Mourning go with his right hand from the perimeter, and Luke is hearing it from Michael Jordan on one side, Scottie on the other, as they are bookending him, giving him all kinds of instructions. Defensive end, offensive end, and Luke says, all right, I understand.
You know, you do a very fine Australian accent. Yes.
That seems to cover everything.
Very well done. 3:34 remaining in the first half. Alonzo Mourning shooting the second of his 2 free throws. The high men of the game are Pippen and Jordan with 14. Hawkins leading Charlotte with 10, and Johnson has 9. Chicago by 1. Pippen gets it down to Kukoč. So it's Longley with Kukoč and Pippen up front. Myers and Armstrong in the backcourt. Kukoč off the dribble. Shot clock at 6. Kukoč facing up.
Well, that's not what Phil Jackson had in mind. He wanted to have Tony Kukoč work against Alonzo Mourning, take him out on the floor, face him up, and then drive by. And I don't think Mourning has the lateral movement to stay with Tony Kukoč on the perimeter.
Parish trying that backdoor pass, broken up. Muggsy Bogues back on the floor, hobbled by the thigh injury. His defense, Matt, less effective against a club like the Bulls because you see Michael Jordan make his return for Pete Myers. B.J. Armstrong rarely brings the ball up court. So Muggsy can't be as effective as he normally might, and he is the key to Charlotte's running game, but he's hobbling.
But still, he means so much to this basketball team in so many different ways. But you bring out a good point, Marv. They take a big part of that away when he can't pressure 90 feet.
All right, here comes Pippen. Jordan.
Yes.
16 for Michael. An outstanding first half. He's hit 7 of 11 for the Bulls by 3.
And that's something that a lot of teams do not do to Muggsy Bogues. That was a transition play, however, but he was matched up against Michael Jordan inside.
And let's see what the call is here. It'll be Charlotte ball.
No contest in a fast break situation with Michael Jordan bearing down as we get a look at Scottie Pippen trying to get a hold of the ball and call another one of those timeouts, something he did earlier in the first quarter.
Apparently the ruling was that Pippen had possession, was out of bounds. So Charlotte able to maintain possession. Shot clock is at 8. Bogues with the opening. Hawkins in a crowd got it off and drew the foul. Hawkins has had an effective first half. He was fouled by Armstrong. In this injury-hit season for the Charlotte Hornets, Hawkins, the only Hornet to appear in all 82 games. And he is facing in the first round of the playoffs his hometown team. He was born and raised in Chicago. Hersey spent 5 years with the Philadelphia 76ers. This is second season with the Charlotte Hornets. Actually, last year he had trouble adapting to the free-form style.
And a lot of people were surprised at that. Even though he played many years with Charles Barkley in Philadelphia, they used to run a little bit of freelance stuff. Although you're with Charles, he's going to hold the ball most of the time.
Hawkins came up with that steal. Bogues for 3. Yes!
That's just number 7 on the year for Muggsy Bogues, his first in the playoffs.
The Hornets lead 50-48. 1:45 to go in the half. Jordan got the step. Michael Jordan has tied the game at 50. Jordan has 18 points.
And he throws Alonzo Mourning in there, who is a shotting demon, one of the best in the NBA. He never even got his hands up to challenge Jordan's drive.
Bogues with a change of pace. Beat his man, but had nowhere to go. Shot clock at 6. And here's Muggsy. Nice pass. Gattison couldn't hit the reverse. The game tied at 50. We come up on a minute to go in the half. Jordan with the step, and he is fouled. Oh, the change of pace dribble by Michael Jordan.
Well, Hawkins getting back a little bit slowly from the free throw situation, but just in time to get the steal. And then Muggsy Bogues, who doesn't do this very often, sets his sights for a three-pointer as Michael Jordan turning the corner on Hawkins and taking it hard to the goal. And Alonzo Mourning did get his hand up, but he was so far underneath the rim that he could not even get his hand in position to make that shot.
And the foul was called on Gattison. Well, the one flaw in Michael Jordan's game here today at the foul line, 2 of 5, he has had an outstanding first half. 19 points in all, along with 5 assists and 5 rebounds. The Bulls lead 51-50. This is the finale of our triple-header coverage of NBA playoff action. Earlier, the Celtics knocking off Orlando in Orlando, 99-92. Phoenix went up 2-zip on Portland with a 103-94 win over the Trailblazers. Longley called for the foul. That's 3 on Longley.
Oh, Longley trying to battle Alonzo Mourning inside and get him out of the paint, and in his effort to try to get around in front using his hands too much. And of course these two know each other very well from late last season. Coming down the stretch, the Hornets were making a furious rush to make the playoffs as Mourning and Larry Johnson missed so much time, and then that foolish altercation between Alonzo Mourning and Luke Longley. But part of the growing and maturing process for Alonzo Mourning, says he learned a lot from that incident and learned a lot from his summer experience with Dikembe Mutombo, Patrick Ewing, their trip to South Africa, and he has become a much more mature person and player.
Yes, he has calmed it down in terms of technical fouls and in terms of actions on the court. Longley and Wennington with 3 fouls apiece.
You talk about a foul shot routine that this man goes through. This man made 490 fouls in his regular season, number 3 in the NBA, and part of his success, he has good mechanics, good grip, but he does the same routine every time.
Hornets have a 1-point lead. Bogues all over Armstrong. Now Johnson is guarding Jordan. Mourning switches on. Short Bushler. And he's called for a travel. So the ball back to the Hornets with 36 seconds left in this first half.
Yeah, it's funny, you tell players, don't jump in the air unless you're going to shoot the basketball. Michael Jordan can jump in the air. He's able to hang there that extra second and a half, and find receivers.
Hawkins traveling. Nice fake by Hersey, and then he drags the pivot foot. And Michael Jordan agreeing with that call because Hersey had the stop.
Well, he said no way he could get by me unless he walked with the ball.
Been a hot second quarter for the Bulls. They've hit 10 of 15. They've hit 9 of the last 11. But they're trailing by 1.
Michael Jordan looking over to Phil Jackson for some kind of call. He's going to say, Michael, keep it. Good. You know what to do.
There is a 1-second differential between the game clock and the 24. Jordan's pass deflected. Kerr ends up with it and hits. A 3 for Steve Kerr. Final seconds of the half. Here's Bogues from Mourning, who fires away. The play by Bushley cut off the angle, cut the vision of Mourning. So at the half, following a frantic second quarter, it's the Bulls with a 53-52 lead. Michael Jordan, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Steve Kerr able to drill it to give Chicago the lead. The Charlotte Hornets led by Hersey Hawkins with 12 points. Now stay tuned for the Prudential halftime report coming up after these messages. Welcome back to Charlotte. The Bulls with a 54-52 lead on the Charlotte Hornets. Marv Albert with Mr. Basketball, Matt Kukoč, and Ahmad Rashad. Let's take a look at the Miller Lite halftime statistics. A tremendous shooting first half for the Chicago Bulls. 20 of 33 for 61%. The Hornets with 13 additional shots. They shot 39%. Michael Jordan, 8 of 12 for 19 points. In the turnover department, the Bulls with 11 and the Hornets with 5.
I think Phil Jackson is concerned the fact that they gave up 10 offensive rebounds. Most of them came early in the first quarter, but that's not enough turnovers for Chicago's defense. They are second in the league in steals. They force 18 turnovers a game. That's how they create their flurries and get out and running, and that's how they're going to be a good basketball team. And right now, Phil has to be very much concerned.
Let's check in with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, Marv, I talked with members of both teams after that halftime break, and for the Charlotte Hornets, Alan Bristow told me that even though Chicago was shooting 60%, he felt they were playing pretty good defense, and Chicago was hitting a lot of tough shots. What they want to do in the second half is get Alonzo Mourning more involved and definitely pound the ball inside. And for Chicago, Matty, you must have given that halftime speech because they're concerned about the same things as you just said, the defensive boards, the turnovers, and they felt like Charlotte had way too many second shots. Mark?
You know, Matt, you really have a feel for this game.
I happen to hear what...
So the Bulls with a 2-point lead. Charlotte in possession as the second half gets underway. That's a rare outside shot for Larry Johnson. Here's Muggsy Bogues. And rebounded by Tony Kukoč. Kukoč with Perdue and Pippen up front, and Jordan and Armstrong at the guards. Alan Bristow with Bogues handling the ball. And Bogues and Hawkins at the guards. Mourning, Wingate, and Johnson on the front line. Mourning facing the double team. Wingate changed his mind, and it was broken up by Kukoč. Pippen for 3. Hit 2 earlier, and Jordan keeps it alive and pops. Yes. Michael Jordan has had a very impressive ball game. 48 points the other night in the overtime victory. 21 points here today on 9 of 13 shooting, and the Bulls lead 56-52.
Well, we've seen a barrage of jump shots in the early going here in the third quarter, and Alonzo's going to line one up. There's nobody comfortable inside with what they're getting, so they're going to launch from outside.
Alonzo Mourning does have a good touch, but it does become dangerous, as he admitted when he got a little too three-point shooting happy in game number 1. Here's Kukoč for 3.
Yes.
Tony Kukoč from downtown. Kukoč with 9, and the Bulls have a 5-point lead, 59-54.
Well, every time the ball goes inside to either Larry Johnson or Alonzo Mourning, there will be a double team, and they'll leave Bogues and Wingate open. They're going to have to make jump shots, but so far, Larry Johnson and Mourning are going to take matters into their own hands from outside.
And Alonzo Mourning with 12 points cuts it to a 3-point Chicago lead. Now Jordan around Hawkins, and then lost it. Hawkins off the steal. Wingate with the open shot. And a foul is called. Ron Gattison with the call against the Bulls. It is on Jordan, his second.
Here's Michael Jordan flurrying through the lane there to come off with an offensive rebound. He finds an opening. And then as they just keep whipping the ball around the perimeter, Tony Kukoč, a 31% three-point shooter during the regular season, shot that one with confidence.
Johnson. Johnson able to slip his way in. 11 for Johnson. The Bulls lead by 1. 2.5 gone by in the third quarter. Jordan. He's been hitting the jump shot today. Not that time. Bogues for Hawkins. Hawkins. And he was fouled. So Hersey Hawkins getting inside will go to the line.
Well, Hersey has come out very aggressively throughout this ballgame, looking to be more of a scorer, looking to make Michael Jordan work, and it has paid off, as this turnaround jump shot by Michael Jordan can't get it, and Will Perdue, who has had his problems so far in this ballgame, Will only playing about 10 minutes, but every time he runs into 5'3" Muggsy Bogues, Bogues is getting the best of him as far as picking off rebounds or steals.
Hersey Hawkins, an 87% free throw shooter, not hitting on that first attempt. Charlotte now 12 of 14 at the line. Here's the breakdown on Michael Jordan. We mentioned 9 field goals, now 9 of 14. 7 have been jump shots. He's hit 1 slam. That was that gorgeous move to the hoop, and he scored on a layup. So he has been hitting the outside shot. Pippen, yes. Scottie Pippen has also been hitting the outside shot. 16 for Pippen. The Bulls, 61. The Hornets, 59. Bulls looking for the cutting Hawkins. David Wingate. Wingate is now 1 for 5. He's had a number of open shots. Open shot for Armstrong. B.J. Armstrong with 6 points, and that was the 6th assist for Michael Jordan.
Off good penetration in the transition, made the Charlotte defense collapse and get all packed inside there, and then those quick 2 passes. And it's so much easier to shoot the ball when you get into a rhythm like that, instead of having just stand and the whole offense just watching it.
And earlier we were talking about the success the Hornets have had here at home, but there's the alley-oop from Mourning, able to field it and put it away. 3-point Chicago lead. After winning 13 straight here at home during the middle of the season, the Hornets then won only 6 of their last 11 at the Coliseum. So things went the other way in the final weeks. Wingate is called for the foul, and that dates back to mid-March when they blew a 19-point lead to the Washington Bullets.
Well, lots of problems there. Then Muggsy Bogues got hurt, and Del Curry was out for 10 games during that time period. And Del Curry, such an important part of their offense, coming off the bench, giving them about 13, 14 points a ball game and spreading the defense. Michael Jordan has called Tony Kukoč his project, so every opportunity he gets, he wants to make him aware of what's going on offensively and, most importantly, defensively.
The chief, Robert Parish, has checked in, replacing David Wingate. Kukoč. Charlotte has got to a big club now with both Mourning and Parish on the floor. Jordan around Hawkins. Jordan to the left hand, rebounded by Mourning. 3-on-1. Johnson from Bogues. And handled by Perdue. Bulls with the ball, leading by 3. Pippen for 3. And back come the Hornets. Mourning for Johnson. Spinning, firing him. Larry Johnson making the running hook. And the Hornets are within 1.
Terrific adjustment by Alonzo Mourning. I thought Muggsy gave him the ball too soon, but Alonzo handled it well and made the next pass to Larry Johnson.
Now Pippen played on a switch by Hawkins. Johnson trying to cheat over to help. Pippen. The tip was missed by Kukoč, and a loose ball foul on Perdue.
Alonzo Mourning running the middle on the break. Muggsy gives it up, and that's a tough place to give a 6'11" player. Larry Johnson gets the field goal, but you still see Larry just cannot explode. A couple of years ago, he would be able to dunk this ball. Now he has to flip him up there.
Welcome back to Charlotte, where the Hornets are trying to even up this best-of-5 series at 1-1. Bulls trying to go up 2-zip game 3 in Chicago Tuesday night. If there is a game 4, it'll take place Thursday in Chicago, and then if there's a game 5 back here in Charlotte on Sunday in this best-of-5 series. One other NBA playoff game tonight, the Dikembe Mutombo and his Denver Nuggets, David Robinson and the San Antonio Spurs. That's tonight at 9 Eastern time and will be seen on TNT. That is later on tonight. 6:45 remaining in the third quarter. And the Bulls lead 64-63. Parish being played by Kukoč. Johnson for 3. Larry Johnson has added the shot from downtown to his repertoire. That is his first today. He has 16, and the Hornets now lead by 2. It's been a strong game for Larry Johnson. Kukoč off the dribble against Parish. Kukoč. Rebounded by Hawkins.
Well, interesting, the play before that the Hornets felt they had a mismatch with Parish inside on Kukoč, and at that end, the Bulls clear out for Kukoč, who has a mismatch against Robert Parish, at least facing him and driving to the basket.
Crowd reacting. They thought there should have been a foul called on Perdue making contact with Mourning. Here's Hawkins. Percy Hawkins with 15. Hornets 68. The Bulls 64. Chicago has missed its last 5 shots. Kukoč rejected by Parish. Kukoč looks for the goal tag. Here's Bogues around Armstrong. Phil Jackson calling for time. An 11-0 run by the Hornets, who have taken a 6-point lead.
Well, the inside feed to Parish, quickly outside to Larry Johnson, who made 81 three-pointers during the regular season, feeling much more comfortable here. Hersey almost gets stripped, but gets a step on Michael Jordan. He has been an effective offensive player for Charlotte. And then Robert Parish paying dividends for the Hornets. Turns away Tony Kukoč here for another fast break opportunity for the Hornets, as Muggsy does a beautiful job of spinning on Armstrong to give the Hornets a 6-point lead.
The Bulls and the Hornets, and then following Sequest, it'll be Fred Dreyer returning to NBC as Hunter in a 2-hour world premiere movie. Nice to see Fred back on the network. Hunter used to be a successful regular series on Saturday nights. Fred, a pretty fair defensive end in his days with the Giants and the Rams. Fred Dreyer returning to NBC as Hunter tonight after Sequest. And here is Perdue going way off the missed their last 6 shots. They're 4 of 14 from the field, while the Hornets have hit their last 5. Pippen with the steal. Armstrong lost it. Hawkins with the easily from behind.
And Scottie Pippen furious with the referee as Bogues, after he was beaten by Pippen, just held on to Scottie Pippen and right in front of the official and no call.
And a loose ball foul against the Hornets. Foul on Mourning. That is his second. 4:40 remaining. In this third quarter, the Hornets with a 70-64 lead.
And the Hornets have whipped the Bulls in the fast break department, outscoring them 16-2. And even when the Bulls get the opportunity, they're unable to even get a good shot at the basket.
Pippen trapped, picked up on the double team. Jordan. And back comes Bogues. Bulls have missed their last 8 shots. We come up on 4 minutes to go in the third. Mourning guarded by Kukoč. And a travel is called.
And Pippen gets the steal and starts the fast break with B.J. Armstrong able to flip it there to start it. But Bogues not only pushes Scottie Pippen out of bounds, but holds on to keep him from getting back into the play. I think the official felt it was a fast break. He didn't want to stop the play, but then on the turnover, and they won it.
Well, Jordan got the step, but it was blocked by Mourning. Will Perdue able to hang in, and he'll go to the line.
Well, the Bulls have been tentative offensively, settling for jump shots. Michael Jordan, realizing that, decides to take it to the goal, but Robert Parish has been a force inside, along with Alonzo Mourning, in blocking some shots. Alonzo had 7 in the first game as they are patrolling inside, and it has forced the Bulls to stay on the perimeter. But for Chicago to get themselves going, they're going to have to make something happen at the defensive end. They've been playing too soft, not enough pressure on the ball.
Foul by Parish, putting Perdue at the line. He's only a 58% free throw shooter. 70-65 Hornets. And a foul on Armstrong. 14th foul against the Bulls.
It's B.J. Armstrong, who almost never complains, trying to put some pressure now on Muggsy Bogues, which is next to impossible, saying, hey, it's not a hand check. He didn't put the hand out. He had his arm close to him, made body contact, but felt it should not have been called a hand check.
Double team on Mourning. Double up on Parish. Oh! Yeah! Pass thrown by Bogues. Charlotte in the midst of an 11-1 run. They lead by 5. The Bulls only 4 of 17 from the field in the third after the hot shooting second. Michael Jordan slicing his way, and he drew the foul. That's the 4th team foul on the Hornets. Larry Johnson picks it up.
Well, one of the things the Bulls can do with their triangle offense is spread out, start it much further out on the floor, some 24, 25 feet. And when they do that, that will afford some driving opportunities. It looked like it was going to be a screen roll situation for Michael. He didn't take the screen, just a quick little crossover and drive to the basket. That's the right idea right now for Chicago because they are stagnant.
With only 2 points in this third quarter, 1 out of 5 after the good first half. And B.J. Armstrong able to hit for Chicago. They had missed 10 straight shots. 70-67 Hornets. So Del Curry is back, teaming with Muggsy Bogues in the backcourt. Curry being guarded by Jordan. Now Jordan on a switch is guarding Johnson down low. Here's Johnson spinning and hitting. Larry Johnson, 8 of 13, 18 points. And it looks like a technical foul has been called. Phil Jackson, a little active on the bench, and apparently has something to say to the official, Ed Rush.
Well, during that last timeout coming out, Phil Jackson and some of the Bulls players were really giving it to the referees, not Eddie Rush. And then on this hard spin move by Larry Johnson, in which he got to the basket, Phil Jackson felt it was a traveling violation as Jordan goes for the steal, doesn't get. And maybe he was right. A little shuffle of the feet should have been a walking call on Larry Johnson, but made it so quickly and with such power, I don't think the official saw it. Phil doing a little pirouette to show exactly just how he picked him up and laid him down.
Scottie Pippen for three. And Alonzo Mourning with the rebound. It has been all Charlotte here in the third. They lead by 6. Curry on a quick release. Pippen. Jordan to the reverse.
It looked like Michael had nowhere to go on a good defensive help by Robert Parish, but he improvised.
Hornets 73 and the Bulls 69. Just under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Johnson surrounded. And the rebound handled by Wennington. And a whistle in the backcourt. Larry Johnson trailing the play was called on the foul.
Pippen had ideas of attacking the rim, got stopped, finds Michael Jordan, who starts to go up in the air. He sees the long, outstretched arms of Robert Parish, and only Michael Jordan maybe has that ability to hang just that long, able to control and take it to the other side and use the glass. And Michael saying no foul. He thought Robert Parish got a piece, and I think that technical by Phil Jackson was part a spontaneous reaction on the walk, but I also think he's trying to get his team going a little bit right now. He knows they're going to have to do something defensively to get some of these flurries, and just trying to change the tempo and create a little excitement.
And on the subject of defensively, Pete Myers, who does add in that department, will check in this, though, to give Michael Jordan a rest. 23 for Jordan, but only 4 here in the third quarter. Aaron Hancock, who had some good moments in the first half, back on the floor for Charlotte. Hancock, the second-round draft pick, a rookie out of Kansas. Hornets lead 73-71. Minute 35 left in the third quarter. Bogues. Hancock. Hancock got bottled up. Mourning. Foul. Alonzo was held by Will Perdue.
Well, the Bulls are picking it up defensively, denying passing lanes, overplaying, trying to take charges there as Scottie Pippen getting there late, as the bench of Chicago starting to get into it and appreciating the effort that the Bulls are putting forth defensively right now. It's just the first flurry in some time, and then the grab and hold on Alonzo Mourning as he tried to get up to the basket. But Alonzo Mourning, a terrific free throw shooter.
And he is 6 for 6 here today. So the Hornets lead 74-71. Game 1 here on Friday night, 1 in overtime by the Bulls. Michael Jordan playing 47 minutes at 48 points. Mourning with a 32.13 rebound game, along with 7 blocked shots. And Mourning has come on in this third quarter after the quiet first half. 16 for Mourning, and the Hornets lead 75-71. 1:15 to go in the third. Pippen being played by Hancock. Armstrong with Bogues right in his chest. Look out, Hancock over aggressive, and Pippen is shaken up.
As Scotty is, he's wincing. I don't know if he got hit in the eye or face area as Hancock trying to break into the passing lane there for the steal, and Scottie Pippen making sure he caught the ball there, and a hit in the face and then a sort of a forearm to the jaw area as Scottie Pippen shaken up.
Aaron Hancock, guy who plays with a lot of energy and emotion. Last year he spent a good portion of the season playing abroad in France. He was a second-round draft pick a year ago, was in the starting lineup after Scott Burrell, a very important player on this Hornet squad, went down. Hancock started 7 games. See, since Burrell's injury, last 13 games of the season, he averaged 17 minutes a game. Did a good job. Although David Wingate has been the starter in this series. Hornets 75 of the Bulls, 73. Michael Adams is back to provide a rest for Muggsy Bogues. Final minute of the third quarter. Steve Kerr has come on, and he is guarding Adams. They double up on Mourning. Hancock for Parish. And the foul.
Darren Hancock on the flash into the lane, had everything all lined up here as he receives from Mourning. Knew he was in trouble, but knew he had to cheat somewhere around the basket. And the no-look over-the-ear pass, a beauty.
41-year-old Robert Parish not able to complete the three-point play. Mourning, though, with the rebound. Parish, and a foul called against the Hornets. A loose ball foul. Charlotte is over the limit, so the Bulls will go to the line. Mourning picks it up. It's his third.
Well, one of the reasons why Phil Jackson has Bill Wennington and Will Perdue on the floor is to take up some space and block out and do a job on the boards. And on the missed free throw, they don't get the job done as Robert Parish and Alonzo Mourning keeping the ball alive.
So Will Perdue to the line with 44 seconds to go in the third. 3 for 5 at the line. Will still wearing that protective face guard because of a broken nose suffered earlier in the season. It's 1 of 2, and the Hornets now lead 77 to 74. Michael Adams handling against Steve Kerr. Down to 35 seconds in the third. Defensive sequence by Chicago. Parish hits a patented fadeaway shot. Robert Parish with 4 points. Hornets lead by 5. Now 15 seconds to go in the third, and they're on their feet here in the high. Wennington. Final seconds of the third quarter. Curry's pass broken up. And that's the end of the third. It's the Hornets 79. The Bulls 74. See Hancock come away hobbling, trying to work it off. We'll be back after a word from your local station.
Hello?
Outscored the Bulls 27-20 in the third quarter. Chicago only 6 of 21 from the field in the third after the hot shooting second when they converted 11 of 16. Alonzo Mourning with an enormous third quarter, 8 points and 6 rebounds. Myers, as this fourth quarter gets underway, led by Kerr. Crowd wanted a travel on Myers. Michael Jordan sitting it out, getting a rest. Here's Kerr with a rare shot going to the hoop.
And a big reason for that good defense in the third quarter and the first play to start the fourth. Robert Parish just doing an outstanding job patrolling the lane, sensing every opportunity that the Bulls have to score, and he's stepping up.
And this is a Charlotte team that has turned it around defensively. Mourning is rejected. Alonzo Mourning turned back. Pippen able to save that pass. And Mourning gets to it. I would think the presence of Johnny Bond added to the Charlotte staff after his departure from Chicago has contributed to the Hornets' defensive improvement, although they have changed their tempo from the last couple of years.
And Johnny candidly admits that, but that's part of it. And as they're playing more style that's going to be successful in the playoffs, they want to run when they can. Other than that, run set offense so they have good court balance so they get back on defense and stop fast breaks.
Wennington was stopped. And we get a whistle, a foul called on Charlotte. A moment ago, we saw Darren Hancock, who's played well, limp off right at the end of the third quarter. For more on that, let's go to Ahmad.
All right, Marv, Darren Hancock apparently banged his knee on Scottie Pippen when they had that collision late in the third quarter. Pippen bruised his left hip, but obviously they're both all right. Pippen's still playing. Marv?
Ahmad and Bill Wennington hitting that side jump, his second field goal. It brings the Bulls within 3 points. With 1:45 gone by in the fourth quarter. Charlotte hoping to even the series at 1. Chicago looking to jump in front 2-0. Mourning from downtown. Alonzo Mourning with his first three-pointer of the game.
And as Alonzo ran back on defense, he looked over to Alan Bristow. Alan Bristow put the hands up. Now it's easy now with the threes. Not too many.
Longley. Mourning with the rebound. Adams and Curry in the backcourt. Mourning, Wingate, and Parish up front. Hornets staying with the twin tower approach with Parish and Mourning. Longley nearly picked it off. Parish off the recovery. Robert Parish playing a major role. He's at 3 of 4. He has 6 points.
We'll see Jordan soon, but I'm surprised, Mark, that Tony Kukoč has spent this amount of time on the bench. He could be an effective player right now because both Wennington and Luke Longley, other than Wennington's giving them some offense, but those two are not getting the job done.
Hornets with an 84-76 lead. Adams. Adams surprised Longley. Biggest lead of the game for Charlotte. The Bulls calling for tie.
Alonzo Mourning, who made his first 3 3-pointers the other night and then missed 3 in a row and then started thinking about it that he probably shouldn't be doing it. He probably had some thoughts there, happy to drain that one. But when he looked over to Alan Bristow said, take your time with the threes. And then Michael Adams using that rim as a shield to get the little reverse up against the 7-footer Luke Longley.
3 minutes in. Fourth quarter, the Charlotte Hornets celebrate. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
And today we go back 2 years. Celtics and Hornets meeting in the first round of the playoffs. Game 4, Charlotte down by 1. And Alonzo Mourning with the most memorable shot in Hornets history. They defeated the Celtics to advance to the second round. It marked the first time one of the recent expansion franchises made it to round 2 of the playoffs. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. The Hornets have opened up a 10-point lead thanks to the all-around play of Alonzo Mourning, who has come on very strong in the second half. Michael Jordan has returned, not able to hit on his first attempt. 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, and the Chicago shooting, so efficient in the first half, has dropped off. They have struggled in the second half, shooting only 26% in the second half. Jordan trying to break it up. Johnson gets it back out. Shot clock at 2. Curry for 3. He has hit 3 straight from downtown, and the Hornets lead 89-76.
And you tell your team, never leave Del Curry alone. Even if you're scrambling, double teaming, make sure you rotate to him first.
Jordan for 3. Last touch by the Hornets.
Well, anytime, Del Curry is always going to find that 3-point line. And when he does, it does not take long for him to let it go, as Pete Myers got caught trying to shade towards the lane, giving Kerr way too much room.
During the regular season, hit a franchise-high 153 three-pointers, and a hand check called on Johnson, his 4th. Here's Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, Marv, during that last time out, the Charlotte Hornets bench, they wanted to continue to pound the ball inside, and when the Chicago defense collapsed in, kick it out to players like Curry. They want to be as disruptive as possible defensively, and they told me they want to try to tire Michael Jordan out by running him off as many screens as possible. Marv?
Well, Michael Jordan has not been able to do it offensively in the second half after the sparkling first half. And here in the fourth quarter, the Hornets have outscored the Bulls 10-2. We have 7:20 remaining in the fourth. Curry. Yes. Del Curry, 4 of 8 from the field. The Hornets with a 91-76 lead on the Bulls.
Let's talk. Kerr gets keeps it going. He is so difficult, and Pete Myers is really working hard. That time just getting caught off balance, just giving him a little bit of a look. Enough for Del Curry. For a team that has been poor all year long, dead last in offensive rebounding, the Charlotte Hornets have really come alive in these first 2 games of this playoff series, as Alonzo Mourning having another outstanding ball game. 23 points, just 6 for 15 from the field, but doing it in other areas.
Matt, would you say even with the 5:30 p.m. start here in Charlotte, this will be considered as a morning game?
Oh, yes, definitely, since you said that.
Armstrong able to hit. And the Hornets now lead 98-89 with 2:20 to go in this fourth quarter. Hornets trying to tie the series at 1. Kerr on the foul. And the Bulls with their 5th team foul, so Bogues to the line.
A thankless task, especially for Steve Kerr, who does not have the quickest feet in the world, trying to put pressure in the backcourt on Muggsy Bogues. We saw it earlier in the ballgame. B.J. Armstrong just brushing up against Muggsy. He's an outstanding ball handler, is Muggsy, and so low to the ground, so difficult to do anything with as far as pressing or trapping. So that's something that the Charlotte Hornets do not have to worry about. Hey, really, you have to take your hat off to Larry Johnson coming down the stretch here. He's taken the challenge to defend Michael Jordan one-on-one, and Michael's trying to take it to him. And there should be a mismatch there because Michael has the quickness, but Scottie Pippen has the advantage right now against Hawkins.
Quiet second half for Pippen after the good start. He has 18. Jordan leads the Bulls with 32 points. And handled by Pippen. High score for Charlotte Mourning with 23. 3-point attempt by Pippen. And another rebound for Mourning, number 18 for Alonzo. Larry Johnson with 21 points. Hawkins with a strong game, 15 points. Hornets lead 100-89. A minute 40 to go in this fourth quarter. Johnson with the good look. Muggsy Bogues with 13 points, along with 7 assists. Hornets by 13. Johnson with the steal. Chased by Jordan. Johnson all the way. And rebounded by Pippen. Oh, Larry Johnson, you know, wanted to do it on both ends against Michael Jordan. Armstrong way off.
Right at the top of the backcourt, which is in play, but everybody stood around and looked. B.J. Armstrong, an outstanding shooter. Nobody could believe that shot was that far off.
Alonzo Mourning with 19 rebounds. That is a season high for Alonzo. Here's Bogues. Curry for 3. Johnson is fouled. So Larry Johnson will go to the line.
Well, Muggsy Bogues is ecstatic right now. He felt the weight of the world in his shoulders by missing that shot at the end of regulation. He went up to the owner, George Shinn, after the game and said, "My fault, boss. It was in my hands. I should have won the ball game." And George Shinn put his arms around and said, "Hey, we would have never been that close without you." And he's got to feel great. Alan Bristow and his staff have to feel good coming back from such a disappointing loss the other night to tie this series up. And Phil Jackson, his staff, and his team are going to look at this tape and see what they have to do to improve their defensive rebounding.
Now to 45 seconds remaining, fourth quarter. 104-89 Charlotte. Pippen fires the 3. Mourning with rebound number 20. So the series will shift to the United Center in Chicago for Game 3 on Tuesday, all tied at 1. Down to 15 seconds. 5 on the shot clock. Here's Larry Johnson. Oh, they're loving it here in Charlotte. 106-89. And that is the final score. So the series is tied at 1. Alonzo Mourning with a sensational game to lead the Hornets. With We'll be back in Charlotte in a moment. The Chicago Bulls only 12 of 42, 28% shooting in the second half. Michael Jordan with 32. Alonzo Mourning, 23 points, 20 rebounds as the Hornets even the series at 1. So long from Charlotte, North Carolina.